Okay, don't have my phone anymore, but it's 6:34 p.m. Let's call the regular meeting to order, and we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for attending tonight's meeting. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from June 5th, 2025?
I'll move it. I will second that.
Okay, discussion. Dina, I think you got the adjustments.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, motion carried. Okay. Next item, I'd like to reopen the Melvin Farms letter of intent incentive zoning public hearing at 6:35 p.m. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll move that. I'll second it.
Okay. Public hearing is open.
Good evening.
Mario, thank you for coming in attendance again.
Sure.
I believe Mr. Yeager has a,
So I'll let Mario update. So I did get a new electronic, Mario sent me a new updated electronic copy of the letter of intent. It does include all of the items we spoke about last time related to trails and tree plantings that Mr. Gerasi had requested. So we are, those have been formalized in the letter of intent, and we'll, I said, why not save a few trees here rather than republishing this all at once? Let's get through this evening, and then if the board has any other comments, we can incorporate those as well before we print out more copies, because it's a...
Thank you, Al. I really didn't have very much to add to what we said, the last time we were here. Like you said, we've agreed on the 4 items that were requested. In fact, I've already made the changes, but there's now 3 more. A couple of them are not a problem. The third one sounds like it's advantageous to do the long sewer line updates to 370. There seems to be some advantages to doing that first. I haven't spoken to my people yet, but I think ultimately we probably will agree to that.
And that's just because this is a large pump station. So as Melvin Farms lots come on or units come on, it's that pump station, if that line to 370 wasn't constructed concurrently with the pump station being constructed, there would not be enough flow for that pump station to operate correctly, and the retention time would be too long, and the waste would go septic, and we would have a hydrogen sulfide issue in the pump station. So that's a hazardous suffocant gas that we don't want to, and it just eats concrete. That pump station needs a significant amount of flow from day one when it becomes operational to function accordingly and not have overextended retention times in it. So that's why I've been saying when Melvin Farms moves forward, we need to concurrently construct the sewers to connect Palmer Elementary, Amelia Park, and Brickwalk. That all needs to happen concurrently for that pump station to function correctly and not be a problem.
okay.
So on to the cost analysis that we did. So we looked at some options here. We looked at options that included Melvin Farms. We looked at options to, and the focus of this was getting sewers to Palmer Elementary, because that's our biggest need. The 4 options we consider are option 1A, which is a gravity sewer connection down Hicks Road, Hayes Road, to where the Melvin Farms pump station would be constructed. That would include sewers to Orchard Estates, connecting Brickwalk and Amelia Park, and the units that are included in the Melvin Farms project. We looked at option 1B, which is the same gravity sewer system, connecting all those developments with the town constructing that pump station and not considering any units in the Melvin Farms development. In addition to that, we looked at option 2, which would take a gravity sewer connection from the River Road side of Palmer Elementary, up River Road, back down Patchett Road, and then connect through Jerry Hull's property into what is the end of the Timber Banks Phase 1 pump station service area. We looked at option 3, which is similar to option 2, only would extend sewers all the way down Patchett Road to where, ultimately, where Timber Banks will tie into Patchett Road. And that's a little longer term, because Timber Banks has to build out back to there for there to be actually a connection point. But we looked at it anyway, just as, hey, this brings more lots in, services more people, maybe there's an advantage. So this is option 1A. Here's Palmer Elementary. Palmer Elementary would have to bring their sewer out to here. There'd be gravity sewer constructed by the town on behalf of the sewer district down to here. This section of sewer and the pump station and the force main would all be constructed by Melvin Farms. The town would construct this piece of sewer from Amelia Park to the pump station, and this piece of sewer between Brick Walk and Amelia Park. Next slide. This is option 1B. Essentially the same thing, only the town is paying for the pump station, the force main, and this run of sewer up Hayes Road. Next slide. This is option 2. So we would go from the Riverside Road of Palmer, which is where their sewer already comes out to, and then it pumps back to this lot here. So we would pick this up, we'd run gravity sewer up River Road to here, gravity sewer all the way down to here, gravity sewer back to here, and this is the end of serviceability to this existing Phase 1 Timber Banks pump station. There is limited capacity. There's capacity constraints where this sewer comes across the golf course. Right now it looks like there is, we could fit the capacity that's needed right now for Palmer Elementary and the existing homes on Patchett. It would allow very little capacity for future development along Patchett in the future. Next slide. And this is option 3. So this would take Palmer Elementary from River Road all the way down Patchett, tie into the connection point for Timber Banks. Timber Banks would have to build sewers all the way down to here, and this would ultimately flow to the new pump station that's being designed right now in the very back of Timber Banks. So that's a bit of a long-term wait. Timber Banks is building pretty fast right now, but realistically, they're not going to get down to here maybe 7-8 years at best at the pace that they're constructing right now. Next slide. So, from a cost standpoint, this is option 1A. This includes all the EDUs, all the equivalent dwelling units in Melvin Farms, Amelia Park, Brick Walk, Orchard Estates, all the houses fronting Hicks Road and Hayes Road from Palmer to the pump station, which is a total of 734 units. 26 of those are the school district, so the school district would pay 26 units of this cost. Annual debt service, so it's the town amount for the infrastructure the town would need to construct for this option. It's $2.9 million. The debt service would be $227 per unit, with the $453 aqua fee, for a total of $680, which is a little bit over what the comptroller's allowed cost is for sanitary sewer districts. Currently, that number goes up every year, so by the time this is all constructed and enacted, we're probably under what that threshold will be. Next slide. Option 1B. Same service area, but the town is constructing everything. The number of units is 146. Again, 26 of those are the school district. Total cost, $7.148 million. Annual debt service cost is $2,805. Plus the $450 aqua charge, and your annual cost is $3,258 for those existing residents without Amelia Park being included in that, or Melvin Farms being included in that sewer district. Next slide, Kevin. Option 2, this is again from the River Road side of Palmer Elementary, back around Patchett to Jerry Hole's property, then across to the Phase 1 Timberbanks Pump Station. Limited expansion for future development on Patchett Road just because of capacity and the existing sewer system. The total capital cost, the total bond amount is 1.99 million, but because you have so few houses, you only have 57 houses, or 57 EDUs, 26 of those would be the school district, and the other 31 units are other houses that exist along that route and the fire department. The debt service is $2,004 there. With the $453 aqua charge or WEP charge, you're at $2,457 per year. Option 3. So we pick up a few more houses, so we go up to 65 units. We also pick up some additional costs for that additional run of sewer, and that's so we were a little over $2 million for the cost, and the debt service is $1,779 plus the $453 WEP fee, and your total is $2,323. As you can see, the costs for options 1B, 2, and 3 are way over the comptroller's threshold. The only way that district could be formed would be if residents petitioned for the district. You couldn't do it by order of the town board, and then it would be subject to referendum, and that's a lot of money for sewers, over 30 years. That's the bottom line. I don't know if that's a district that I would ever get passed or constructed. Next slide. Oh, that's sorry. So really 1A is our best option because it uses the planned future development of the Melton Farms property. It's really the only option that we have that gets us anywhere near the comptroller's threshold for allowable debt service. The school district is limited. The school district cannot fund projects off of their property. So I believe the last time Joe was here, I think they said the replacement of their septic system was over $3 million is what they had anticipated the cost would be.
If they have to go to
If they have to replace their septic system with a raised bed system, which they would have to because of the groundwater separation, they won't meet the requirements. It's $3 million just for the school that's out of the school district's pocket.
let's review that. That's out of the town of Lysander, town of Van Buren, and part of the town of Place,
Taxes.
which would be mostly, where town of Lysander is probably two-thirds of that number.
So the purpose of this was exercise requested by Kevin and the board, and the purpose of it is to look at, hey, these are what the actual costs are, the actual numbers to do this without any future development on the Cold Springs Peninsula. And the numbers are astronomical for the density of houses that exist there. But we just don't have the existing density makes the cost so high that we can't serve these residents that have been promised sewers for decades without charging them, thousands of dollars a year for 30 years in debt service.
And those are 30-year numbers.
Yeah, those are 30 years. So,
But aren't grants available though, Hal? I mean,
we can chase grants, but the bottom line is the
no, I'm
grants.
saying that's all an alternative as well.
It is. We can certainly chase grants, but the grants are. The only way you score.
What grants are we going to get? What are the chances of getting a grant?
Yes.
In a town where the paper has shown that an average cost of a home that sells now is $400,000. And if we get forced by the DEC if we get sanctioned like Whispering Oaks, where we have an order of remedy, that opens up
Some additional funding. But that's going to cover a specific area. That is not going to cover the whole peninsula.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like Red Rock, that could happen in those areas where they know they have issues with the
Hayes
river.
Road, Red Rock,
Right.
those are the areas that would get put under a consent order because of their proximity to the river. those are the neighborhoods that really can't afford the $2,000 and $3,000 a year debt service number to connect to the sewer.
And let's say, so if Melvin Farms doesn't get built, we go with that, this doesn't happen, the DEC puts a consent order in Red Rock. Even if we size that pump station, we need a pump station. So even if that pump station gets sized appropriately for the development that's there.
Existing development with no growth, which the DEC wouldn't let you build. They would make you
Build it for
project
what could
growth.
happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'd be looking at single-family lots, giving our zoning, we'd have an estimate of how many houses
175.
could be built.
Yeah, 175.
What's the average cost to hook up to, if you have dry sewer now, what's the average to hook up?
So dry a couple $1,000 if you have dry sewers now. It's some of them it's even less because like the Holmes Amelia Park, they actually ran the laterals into the houses and capped them.
If the, right. You've got to decommission your septic, you've got. If you don't have the pipes run.
I mean, decommissioning the septic is relatively expensive because you just pump the tank and you put, you take the top off of the tank and put a load of sand in and topsoil and that's it. That's all they make you do. You don't have to do any more than that. The rest of it can remain in place.
Are the homeowners forced to go on the sewer if they're in the sewer district? And if they aren't forced, then do they have to pay the debt?
Yes, you have to pay the debt, whether you are forced or not. If you're in the district, you're paying the debt.
No.
It's a benefit to your property.
But the district would have to be created and follow
Correct.
through the public hearing process.
Yep, yeah, and subject to permits to referendum, the whole shooting match. We're in the town's in a tough spot because of the way we allowed development to occur. We allowed this development to occur.
Areas of dry sewers that aren't near each other.
Yeah, and quite honestly, we allowed septic systems to be built in areas that had marginal septic, soil suitability for septic systems.
Right. But we're also.
I mean, Red Rock's called Red Rock for an area. It's all red clay, and then it goes down to red sandstone bedrock at a relatively shallow depth. It just doesn't.
No.
The water doesn't perk down there.
But the standards now were not the standards in the 30s, 40s, and 50s when
Red Rock was
those
developed.
places
But
were
Amelia
developed.
Park, the standards haven't changed from Amelia Park was developed, or Brickwalk was developed, or Orchard Estates was developed. Those are still the same standards that we have today. There's just poor quality soils in that area from a septic system design standpoint. And most of those septic systems, those developments were done in like Orchard Estates was done in late 90s, early 2000s it was started. The old section of that was like the 80s. Those septic systems are reaching their design service life. When people have to replace them, they're probably not going to get perks to work and get a conventional system to work, and they're going to end up with a raised bed system. Average cost for a raised bed system in a 3-bedroom house is $40,000 now. And a lot of those houses are bigger than 3 bedrooms. They're 4 or 5 bedroom houses.
I mean, what I wanted to do was present to the board the numbers of the reality of if something doesn't happen, what could be the costs of getting sewers on the peninsula. To give us an idea, Councilor Gerasi had also asked, we want to look at what the revenue for the town would be if this gets built, to have an idea of what the town's revenue is.
Well, would we also take in consideration if the houses are in these sewer districts now, their value's gone up, right?
Well,
So now
unfortunately, that stop doesn't work that way anymore because you guys froze assessments.
Right, but
So it doesn't make a
No, I'm
difference. We
just
can't
saying.
reassess. Yeah, yes, houses would sell for more, but we don't have control over that anymore. It's all over the town-wide
until we
equalization rate.
go back
So,
to assessments.
yeah, we don't. There would be no.
I'll get to the public.
There would be no change in assessed value once sewer service was available to any of these homes.
So,
And because our equalization rate isn't by neighborhood anymore, it's by the whole town.
Right.
It would likely change our equalization rate.
Al, walk me through the math on the option 1A if the project is built.
Sure.
You've got 537 units. Does that assume that all of that, it assumes the 537 units, which are not all going to get built overnight. So what happens to the math in terms of however long it takes for Melvin to be completely built out.
So you have total control over how that sewer district charges are built in. There's a couple ways of lessening the burden on the developer and on the residents. You do a 5-year ban. They're targeting their build out in 5 to 10 years. You do a 5-year ban and then you're only paying the interest, so your payments are low for 5 years. After 5 years, you go to long-term financing, and within 5 years, their development is close to being built out, and then you start paying principal on the debt. And everybody's included in that district, and mainly because long-term, when that pump station needs to be rebuilt, that's going to fall back onto the residents. So having more people contribute to that makes the cost lower. That's one of the things that we've fallen down in the Lysander from planning department is we have all these little tiny districts with 30, 40 houses in them, and we just don't generate enough revenue when we have a problem to keep costs low for the residents. So as we move forward with sewering the Cold Springs Peninsula, the way to do this is one large overall district as we move forward to keep the costs low for the residents long term.
So
Then if you did that, could you rerun those numbers then?
As far as
If you include all the other,
Well, that was his options.
yes. As that sewer district extends, those extensions would be paid for by the people that benefit from them. But they would the same thing. Those long term, those people that are added to the district would still contribute to maintenance downstream of them as well. But the debt service would only be for the houses that benefit from the overall project.
all right, so I don't want to get lost in the weeds here, but in this, if you do a ban, you're saying you can pay the interest for the first 5 years, but the principal begins to be paid in year 6.
Correct.
Where is Melvin in year 6? Half built, and then what?
When we talked, they
I think we're projecting about a 10-year
total
build.
build out, yeah.
10 years.
So 5 or 6 years, you're about halfway through.
All right, so from year 6 to 10, that price is going to be higher. Significantly higher.
Right, so there's one of the things as a board we address on, would it be a requirement of us to ask the developer to pay the full, as if it was built
Correct.
next year?
Yes.
Asking the developer to pay the debt service based on 537 units or
Yes.
contribution
Yes.
to help offset the debt service.
Well, I'm worried about years 6 through 10.
Yep.
Because your numbers are based on year 10.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you can build 537 units, we're billing you, right?
Yes, you can set up the sewer district so that.
With the incentive zoning, we could ask for that payment to be applied directly to, so instead of them only paying for 140 units in year 1, they built 3 buildings. We're asking them to pay for all 537 every year, and as they build buildings, they pay us less every year, and that goes into debt service on the buildings.
Yeah, then
I
that's
believe that was.
that's where I was going with that, Bob.
That could be an ask of the board.
Yeah, that's.
Which
And I don't know,
would be
you don't necessarily have to even write it in the LOI. You can just structure the sewer district map plan report to spell that out. And like you said, the 5-year ban really lessens the burden on the developer and on the residents in having this huge, massive bill.
And so, how long, when does the pump station have to be rebuilt?
Oh, your service life on them typically is 50 years.
50 years.
Yeah, we're looking
I
at,
mean, you'll do an overhaul pump-wise every 12 to 15 years, but that's a $40,000 bill.
So from year 30 to 50, there's no capital cost? It's
No, there could be a pump rebuild in there potentially, but yeah, no real significant capital outlay. So you can save money and build a cash reserve. Yeah, I mean, there's options there. Actually, you're kind of limited in how you can do cash reserves unless you do what's it called? There's a
Capital?
separate, yeah, there's a capital improvement. I think you have to set up a capital improvement account or something. But there's comptroller things that have to be
This
figured
is,
out with that.
and this is for the public. Al didn't have a chance, he had a couple issues today to not send this to us. We'll get the presentation online. This was just more of a, to get this out there to the public. You know, we're not gonna close the public hearing tonight. We're gonna adjourn it because there's still information we're looking for. But we wanted to get this piece of the pie to the public to allow people to have time to digest it in the area. So if there are questions, if you're done with it.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm happy to take questions.
If there's any questions of the developer, or, you know, if the public hearing's open, is there anyone that would like to speak?
Oh, jeez, I
Yeah.
got one sentence.
Gotta get your steps in.
Oh,
I wanna make sure you're.
I'm an old woman, remember? Fancy road. I was just wanted to answer Jeff. The sewers did not increase our property value when they did them in the Village of Fairhaven. The properties went up there because waterfront went crazy. But we didn't see anybody in the village that on waterfront, their property values never changed just because they went on sewer. So I really don't think it makes your property value jump up just because you're on sewers, to any great extent.
Yes, I mean, not to any great extent, but you would see, so like in a development like Amelia Park with substantial houses.
You're gonna see about a 30 grand increase.
Yeah, the selling price would.
So you're talking what, $500 million houses?
No, we're
My
talking
house.
$700,000 to $800,000 houses.
Not my house.
You're talking $700,000-$800,000 houses that you would see a 5-10% jump in value.
Oh, okay.
But once a few of those sold, it would trigger a reassessment for the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
If we were at
assessments
100,
are
if assessments weren't frozen, but if assessments are frozen, so that won't happen now.
Okay.
But,
I just
but
was
new
saying,
builds, I mean, new builds are assessed,
Correct.
because you're improving the property.
Correct.
So, you know, for the
Well, I'm
frozen
just saying,
assessment,
we
you don't have an
don't
empty
assess
lot
that
that's
big
worth
on that
50
big
grand, you
lot.
put a $400,000 home on it, your assessment's gonna reflect that home. Now, it won't increase the next year currently.
Yeah.
But you'll.
but it's your average homeowner that, if you're saying the average home is 400,000, you're not talking that being an average home in those developments.
No, those developments are
Okay.
higher
Okay.
caliber.
Above average at this point.
Yeah, but with that being said, most of the homes on the peninsula right now are
300.
350. You know, I mean, I think it would be hard to buy a home on the peninsula for less than 350. That's kind of the, even in Red Rock, I think that's kind of where you're at starting. Maybe not.
I'm packed. If someone comes up and offers us 350, I'm getting out basically. I'll be out for 48 hours.
There you go.
I'll burn anything I can move. I know, I'm ready to get
Yeah,
there.
longer term. You gotta have turnover, you gotta have sales.
Is there anybody else that has anything for the Melvin Farms incentive going comments at this time?
Thanks for your time, folks.
Al, thank you for the presentation. Mario, thank you for attending.
Thank you.
We'll get everything back. Our next
Presentation, by the way.
yes, yeah.
Did a good job, Mario.
Put it together.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing at 7:03 p.m.? All in favor? Meetings, public hearings adjourned. And as I said, we will get that information up on the website. We'll get a Melvin Farms section up so people can go to one place for the information. Next item up on the agenda is citizens' comments. Does anybody have any citizens' comments? Seeing none, we will move on to town board comments. Counselor Moore, we'll start with you. I know it's your beginning of your first day of summer vacation.
School's out, drive safe. Thanks for watching and thanks for coming out.
That would be a ditto from me. Let's we'll keep this meeting moving.
Sitting here, I know someone that wants to get out of here.
Okay. Supervisors' comments. Just wanted to remind everybody, Town Hall summer hours, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30, Friday, 8:30 to 1:30. We are having our volunteer fire recruitment / big rigs trucks at the Lysander Park on Saturday, July 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have Ballsville Pop Warner is opening up the snack shack, and I think they're still allowing, at that point in time, we'll still have openings for Pop Warner cheerleading, flag football for the fall, and tackle football. So they will be on site. They might even have a little tent out for registrations. We also got Sunshine Ice Cream, I think, is going to come over with their trailer for their ice cream truck. So hopefully it'll be a nice warm day, but I can guarantee it won't be 40 and sleet like it has been for the normal volunteer fire recruitment days. All the fire departments here have come out. Have your kids come out, check the trucks out, talk to your volunteer fire departments in your area, see what you can do to help out. They look for any kind of help. They'd love to find people that can volunteer and be firemen, but they have a lot of other things they could use help for. So that's the big reason we're doing this. It was a success before COVID, so hopefully we're getting some kids out there want to have some fun. I think the spray park opens at noon or 11 that day, so hopefully it's warm. Come on out and enjoy the day at the park. The only other thing I have to add, and I'm going to get upset, Mr. Birch passed away, and I know this is going to be odd with me and how he was, but we found him passed away at his house after our meeting. So for people who don't know, Fred, you could love him or hate him, but he always had the best interests of the town of Lysander. And I went out there that night, and it was not a good scene, unfortunately, but the man meant the best for our town, and there are very few people like him. Having that kind of dedication and interest in local politics, I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme, but have that invigoration to take part in your local government. It's lacking, and people start here and end up at the national and federal level. So, get good people here at this level and be a steward of your community and keep them accountable. If people are having developments, come out and ask questions, hold feet to the fire. So, but he will be missed. So, that's all I have to say about that. I know there was an obituary. They might have some kind of memorial service at a later date. So that's all I have on my end. Department head reports. Town attorney.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Town engineer.
I'm all set for it.
Okay. Town clerk.
Trash hauler license renewals went out at the beginning of June. So far, I have 8 back, and I'm waiting for one more. July 1st, it starts for the 2025-2026 year. So once all of those are all paid, I will let the public know who is actually licensed and who isn't. And I'll send second notices to those who have not paid, probably within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
How do you let the public know which ones are licensed?
I put it up on the website. Yeah.
I think she has an area where it lists.
A lot of people call too, and they, when they move to the area, and they ask who's licensed.
There's that many options.
And the other thing at Lysander Park, we are moving forward with our parking lot area. Those will start to be paved after July 15th, the end of July, beginning of August. You might see those areas, Spence Field, those areas are going to be paved and hopefully open up a lot more spaces for people, because we do know we have a parking problem there. I think the lights have been fixed. I forgot to ask Mr. Merrill, the lighting contractor was out there last week, so the parking lot lights should be repaired.
I think they're, yep.
Okay, so on to regular agenda items. Motion A, I'd like to get a motion to waive the $300 pyro permit fee for the Radisson Community Founder's Day fireworks display on Saturday, August 9th, 2025.
I thought Jeff would want to move this.
No, I'm good, thank you.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Councilor Kudarakis, would you like to maybe comment?
No, thank you.
The big bone is we waive these for, communities, things like that, Phoenix. But the reality is we do get other fireworks fees where the code officer has to inspect them. So that's Councilor Kudarakis' point, the town has an expense for this.
We should be covered for that expense.
Right, but we also try to look at the community benefit. No one other than Councilor Kudarakis. I told you, everyone's welcome at Founder's Day.
I would.
And, it's a great time. I've been there, I live in Radisson, but I haven't seen anybody checking IDs, but we do have facial recognition for Mr. Kudarakis. All in favor? Aye. All yes, motion carried. Motion B, I'd like to get a motion to reduce the punch list security requirement for Highland Meadows, AKA Lysander Preserve, Phase 3 and 4 to $12,000 as recommended in the town engineer's letter dated June 24th, 2025.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Discussion, this is just a punch list item that,
Yep, they got us the as-built drawing, they got us the letter that the monuments have been set. The other item that they took off was,
I got it up there, Al, if you turn around, you might be able to read.
I can't read that.
Oh, even the one behind you?
No.
It's all yard drains.
It's all yard. It's some swale work to do still.
Got 4 monitors and none of us are bringing them. I know.
We're old.
You have to expand or something. Zoom.
Can I get a motion in a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. Motion carried. There is no executive session tonight. Our next meeting, just so the public knows,
Oh, do we want to add the resolution for the speed study or?
No, I have to get
he's got to get the street where we're going.
Okay.
We can put it on next time because we're not
Yes.
going to be doing anything.
Until
anyway.
September.
Right, it's not going to happen until September, so our next meeting, July 17th. We will not be meeting next week, July 3rd, with the 4th being the holiday there. So we will see everybody July 17th, 5:30. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:11 p.m.?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good night. Enjoy your 4th, everybody.